1. Okay. Three, two, one. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Oh.
We are here for the first Dan and Dan collab of 2025. Happy New Year, Dan.
Happy New Year, Dan. Yes. My gosh. Where the hell has the time gone, okay? Like,
In our defense, we did this one much faster than our usual ones, which are like usually 2 to 3 months between. And this one we did like a solid like 3 weeks. We are
there's so much to talk about, though.
Jokath says we're muted? Is it both of us, Jokath, or is it Dan the Draco King?
Hi, yeah, I was muted. Hi, everyone.
Hey, this time he caught it right away, and not like we did last time, where I realized I was muted like 20 to 30 minutes into it.
Thank you so much, Juggather, for telling me that.
Thank you.
Hi, Evie. Hi, Starter. Oh.
Oh my goodness. But yes, we have a lovely collab that we definitely planned for you today. Or at least one of us definitely planned for you tonight. Not me. I'm winging it a little bit. But yeah, we're going to talk about some of our favorite things from 2024, some things we're looking forward to in 2025. And as we recently found out like a few days ago, apparently we're also going to be talking Metaphor ReFantasio. Because we both played.
We do. Dada, rude. Jarring us right at the start of this. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's a jar on the egg. Let me quickly do that. I hope everyone's doing well. It's basic jar.
Yeah, Happy New Year's to you all as well. I know it's been a few days, but all the same, Happy New Year's.
So while I do the jar, some of the topics we're going to be talking about will be things like our things we are excited for in 2025 on the gaming scene or otherwise.
Yeah.
We've also got our reactions to the results of the Game Awards.
Oh yeah, we were going to do
another
that.
thing
Yes.
we were going to discuss. And then after that, we'll just see how we feel.
Yeah. Obviously, we're going to fanboy about Metaphor as well. Yes.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. But I can't give spoilers because I think I'm ahead of you. I'm not sure. So
Well, one, I don't
I'm
mind.
really
I don't
sure.
mind spoilers. I literally went to Wikipedia and read the entire plot summary, so I'm good.
No, why did you do
I don't
that?
care for this one. I wanted to know what happened, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I actually do that for some. Some of them I don't want any spoilers at all, and others I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna read the whole plot and then play it for the experience of playing it. So,
Okay, okay, okay.
because there's
Well,
still enjoyment to be found in execution. AJ Hank, how's it going, man? There's still enjoyment to be found in the execution of it and like learning the mechanics and engaging with them and just seeing the spectacle of it all. Like, it's one thing to read about it on a page, it's another thing to like be there and see it, both in
yes.
gaming and in real life. So
Yes, definitely.
so yeah,
Okay.
I might actually be ahead of you with the work I put in the last few days.
Yeah, you probably will. I mean, I think I'm in September.
I am also in September.
I
What
can check.
what is the
What?
date? What is the specific date for you?
Let me have a look.
Okay, while you're doing that, Evie
'Cause-
says they're doing fine. Phone reminded you of an old phrase they had in 2021. I'm glad an old account of yours was deleted. Yeah, sometimes we're still learning to be a person, and we say and do things that maybe we shouldn't. And I'm very cognizant of that. Like, my Twitter account is one of my oldest social media accounts. I've had that Twitter for 15 years. So, like, I'm sure there's some dumb, stupid things I said near the start of that account, and maybe even years into it, that I'm like, oh, hey, wouldn't say that nowadays. So,
I am on September 14th.
September 26th.
Oh, okay, yeah, you say nothing, sir.
I will give you no spoilers. I will give you no spoilers.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let's start with 2025 and what we are excited for.
Well, I mean,
Now, this can
there-
be games or books or movies or anything.
I mean, there's a fairly obvious one here in the room. Your 2025 VTuber debut, which is both exciting for your new model, and comes there, but also as somebody who's watched a friend plan a wedding, I'm sure you're gonna be over the moon once all this prep work and stress is done.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. I've actually started to say to some of my really close friends, like, I am struggling now. This is nerve-wracking, making sure everything is gonna be done on time. 20 days to go.
20 days.
It's...
Let's go. But yeah.
Ah!
Hey, Midori, congratulations. You got first today. But yeah, no, your situation reminds me very much of that friend and her wedding, and how I knew she'd married the right person when he looked her in the eyes and said in the vows that they wrote for each other, I promise you I'll never make you have to plan another wedding ever again. And I'm like, he gets her.
Oh.
He gets her. She's been my friend for years, and I know she hates planning.
That's so cute.
It is. They were wonderful. They're still married. They're still together. So,
Yeah. Oh.
but yeah,
That's so sweet.
that's obviously the big elephant in the room for you. I might have a VTuber live 2D. I should say I might have two of them this year, because I've been working with somebody quietly on a Pixel live 2D model since like autumn of last year. Somebody was looking for people to like do simple commissions with them to kind of like help build out their portfolio, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do this. Like, what are your prices? And they were very affordable, because it's more of like a learning experience, and they've been going slow, but I've been very clear with them, like, hey, we discussed this. This is, you are planning, you are doing prep work. It's fine. You don't need to like be super fast about this, but they're mostly done with the live 2D art for it. They've already talked to a rigger on my behalf and made arrangements for that. I don't know what the price for the rigging is going to be, but those arrangements have been made. So
that's exciting.
we're gonna see another Pixel Dan, because you saw my old chibi one earlier this year that I don't use much anymore because I've kind of moved away from that design. This one will be the new suit design, which I'm even rocking a new live 2D image right now from an artist that I've worked with before, the same person that made my Persona avatar art, Dapio. So I'm using this one here.
I can see you look. Well, it's saying that their name is Dapio. You look very dapper.
Yes.
Very schwanky. You've got the. Let me just make you a bit bigger. That is me. That is not who I wanted to move.
Yeah, I still have the same core design, but it's always interesting to see like what people make as a change here and there. This particular one, I got the final one done, and I sent it to a friend and I go, I don't think I've ever looked more like John Constantine, and I'm not upset about this. I look like Constantine. I'm like, oh, you know what? I probably have some hard-boiled detective novels I could play in this outfit, because it's not a trench coat. It's actually like a jacket, but it looks like a trench coat in this one. Because it always cuts off at like the mid thighs, which is where the jacket ends. But it's still. Oh my god!
I just realized, chat, you're not on screen. There you are.
But I'm gonna have that one, and I'm also been looking around lately for a potential live 2D, like full VTuber model, like a proper live 2D model. Not that the Pixel ones I'm using are bad, but like one that's gonna make me look like everybody else. So
everybody else, and it means we'll be able to interact with each other more.
Yeah, we'll be able to use actual like VTube Studio to do that. So.
I know.
It'd be good. But that one I have not even made the purchase yet. I'm down to like 2 or 3 final candidates for the art. And I've been yesterday I got an opportunity to talk to a VTuber that had gotten art done by one of those 2 people. I'm like, how are they to work with? And they gave me like a quick like, no, I like them. I recommend them. I'm like, okay, good. I like this. So we'll see if I decide to go with them or if I do somebody else. Hello, Dr. Deadbones.
Raid.
Well, you do your spiel, Dan, and I will give them a shout out for both of us, because that should show up in both streams.
My spiel is this. There you go. It's set up to automatically post.
Ooh, Civ 6.
Thank you so much for the raid, Dr. Deadbones. You were playing Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Ooh.
Nice.
Very nice.
Hope you're winning. Hope you're doing good. Hope you found the guns first. Is it guns first or is it horses first? I'm not up on my Civ lore tech tree. I hope you found the good tech first.
Yeah, usually builds horses into I don't know. It's been a while. My main game was Civilization 5. I haven't touched any Civ games after that. Yeah, maybe 7 will bring me back to the to that game kind of thing.
Maybe, but yeah, thank you for stopping by and raiding Dan, and he and I are collabing right now, so I will speak on behalf of both Dans when I say take care of yourself. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to raid and run, that's fine. Perfectly understand. Do your aftercare, your post stream, but also you are welcome to stay and chat. You're welcome to stay and lurk. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. But remember, look after yourself after a stream.
Yep.
Do some self-care if you can. Rehydrate. Get some food. Get some snackies.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to lurk, feel free to. Let me do a proper like a Twitch shout out.
But yeah, so as I was saying, like I'm shopping into the market for a live 2D model. So depending on how quickly I can line up the artist and the rigger for that, it might be done by the end of the year, but it's at least gonna be a project for this year for me. And I guess I'll have a proper debut either at the end of the year or beginning of next. I don't know. Then I can deal with your problems then. You can look on from the outside and go, oh, thank God it's not me this time.
Yeah, I can, once mine's done, I can like sit back and just be like, oh, what's everyone else coming out with? I don't need to worry about myself for a bit.
Yep. Yeah, very much so.
Oh, dude.
So that's kind of the one big thing this year that I want to focus on, because I feel like I'm going to need that to grow as a VTuber going forward. So it's just a matter of like, I need to get this done, and I know I need to get this done. So that being said, I've done a whole bunch of collabs already this month. Not collabs, commissions this month, and none of them were for the model. I've actually got one of them back already. I did like 7 of them on New Year's Eve, and one person responded, and I paid off the commission within 20 minutes of when I submitted it. Like, they were super fast on getting back to me, and that com's already done. But that'll be out next month is when I'm going to publicly share that one. Because it is...
Yeah, I do find that people's work etiquette it very much varies between the artist.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Some of them are slided in at the last second, and others are a little bit faster. And there's pros and cons. There's definitely been artists I've worked with. I'm like, oh god, I am not ready for this yet. Why did you send it my way? What did I do? What did I click on? What am I? There we go.
Sorry, my cat is all over me right now. Dusty. Oh, you silly boy. Come here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey? I don't know what he wants. Do you want water? Do you want food?
Why is that
He
not?
wants water. Come on now. Thank you, Sada. How are you, by the way, Sada?
Oh, that's why.
Are you doing okay? I hope you're doing okay.
That's
Yeah, speaking of like the big news, 20 days to go kind of thing, I'm hoping to get some kind of second teaser out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the works still at the moment.
Yeah, it's gonna be a trick for me, like planning what to deal, like what to like schedule stuff in terms of like commissions and things, and plan stuff out. Oh, Sada, I'm sorry.
I'll message you about it, my dear. Let's chat after stream for sure.
Yeah.
Sada, because that's not fun to go through alone.
Mm-mm.
It's good to talk to someone about your worries.
Exactly, yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing for me for 2025 is that, at least as a project. I might not get it done in time by the end of the year, but it is going to be a project to work on for this year. So, yeah. And then later in January...
Dada, for Christ's sake. I've had a word ban.
But later in January, actually the end of January, the sequel to one of my favorite games, I don't know if I played it last year, if it was the year before,
Thanks for the hydrate.
Citizen Sleeper is getting a sequel. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector, releasing January 31st. So, really good game. I'm looking forward to the sequel. I'm hoping they did like voiceover, because that was the thing I was missing on the first one. Because the trailer makes it look like it has it. But it's...
I have to Google it.
Yeah. It's classified on Steam as an RPG, dice, tabletop, story-rich sci-fi game. But yeah, it's the first one is kind of like you are a human mind trapped in a synthetic body. You essentially sold your labor to a company that threw you in cryo until your copy finishes working for them and earns you money. And the copy is like, this is awful, I hate this, and leaves. And escapes and is hiding out in a space station trying to make Who
do you play as?
You play as the synthetic, you play as the copy. So basically like they're trying to get out of this situation and survive, while also their body is like deteriorating around them, and you need to get like supplies and medicine to keep your synthetic body alive while working jobs and doing stuff. So, but yeah, the core mechanic of it is it's actually like a 6-sided dice. So what you do is when you wake up in the morning, you look at how healthy you are and you roll a bunch of 6-sided dice based on that health meter, and those are your dice rolls for the day. You get them in advance, so you can see, do I have a lot of successes? Do I have a lot of failures? Like, what am I working with for today? So you can kind of plan your day around like whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day based on those rolls.
I can see from screenshots that maybe a skill tree.
A little bit, yeah.
Skills?
Yeah, so you start off as like a certain type of character where like you might be more mechanically inclined or more of a hacker or something else, and you can learn all the skills because as you do stuff and as you finish quests, you do get points to like spec into a tree, and you can either re-emphasize your strengths or balance out your weaknesses because you also get bonuses and benefits to your dice rolls from those trees as well. So you might be able to add +1s or +2s to your like strength checks or hacking checks, which will change results. So you can make decent rolls into good rolls and bad rolls into decent rolls.
So is this game, sorry for articulating so much, I have to make sure I avoid a word. Is this game situated around repetitive play? Like, you can do multiple playthroughs?
It is not a roguelike, if that's what you're asking. And it's...
No, as in you can, finish one story and just do a new one and be like, I know this is going to be completely different.
No, it is a traditional single player experience. It doesn't mutate or change or alterate. The most you could do is like when you get an option to take an ending, you can choose to take it or not. Because ultimately, you're like the thing with you is like you're being hunted by the corporation that you ran away from, and you can get away from them in certain ways. Like you can work with the mafia and have them like smuggle in black market medicine for you to keep your body alive. You can work at the docks to try and earn passage on a ship out of there. You can work with a bounty hunter who tracked you down and have them try and stop the mafia or try and stop the corporation. And like there's a bunch of different options you can do, and all of them have essentially outs, ways that you can leave the situation and stop the game from happening.
Okay.
But
you
essentially
choose when it ends.
Yes. So you can opt in or out. Usually, like I'll like save and then I'll choose the choice to leave, and then I'll come back and like choose the one that's like, no, I'm gonna help this other family get on the ship instead, and I'm not gonna go with them. That kind of thing.
Okay, 5 minutes is up. The word ban is over. Oh, sorry. The word was the. I couldn't say the.
Oh.
So
I didn't see the
trying to like.
I didn't see the redeem.
My entire sentences, so I couldn't say the. I need to add. I haven't added a care package noise either. Oh well, I need to do that after the stream today.
Okay, that explains it. I thought you were trying to avoid like roguelike or something like that. I didn't realize it was a redeem.
No, so I don't think I meant like you could choose, like you can't get every single skill in one playthrough. So what you might do is go a different route next time, because I can see it's got engineer, interface, endure, intuition, and engage on one side of the operator skills. So you know, one playthrough you might go all in intuition, engage, but then you're not going to be able to buy everything over on the other side. So another playthrough you might choose the other side.
So actually the skill tree goes left to right. So as you spec into engineer, you go from like a -1 to a 0, then from a 0 to like efficient extractor on this chart I'm looking at here. Then you can get a +1. then you get self-repair where you can repair yourself using parts, and then you can get a +2. So it feeds over that way. And I think I got most of the skills. Like you can fill in a lot of the skill tree in a single playthrough. And there was even DLC that I hadn't played when I finished that
Thank you for the care package and all the hydrates, everybody.
Yeah, hydrates. So yeah, no, you can do a lot. It does change a little bit at the beginning because obviously, like, if you're an engineer, you're going to be better at like working in the shipyard. If you're an interfacer, you're going to be much better at going down the path for the hacking stuff. But eventually, you kind of want most of the skills anyways, and you definitely want to balance out. Because looking at the screenshot here, this person has a -1 to endure for using strength or strength of will. You're going to want to balance that out real fast because it sucks to get a -1 on any roll. Because I think essentially... who's the sexy man? It's also Dan. This is a Dan and Dan collab.
Yes, this is a Dan and Dan. Oh, I didn't even put your freaking thing in the title.
Oh yeah, I guess I did forget to add you to the stream title. I mean,
There we go.
I will add you to mine here.
And I'm also gonna shout you out. Ha ha ha. If you're not following Dan, go follow Dan.
Oh,
We're so evil.
same thing to my community. Go follow Dan the Draco King. He's got a new model coming out in 20 days, and he's definitely not stressed about it. No, the sexy man is Dan. We know the sexy man is Dan. It's all Dan's here. Mr. Danish, if we can call you that.
Oh yeah. Danish, are you technically a Dan as well? Wow.
They're like a cousin.
Cousin.
Honorary cousin.
Cousin Dan.
But no, Citizen Sleeper is something I'm definitely looking forward to. But the big one, Monster Hunter Wilds. So, yeah.
Oh, you're a miss. Okay.
Monster Hunter is going to be my big addiction for like the very end of February, the beginning of March. I've already put in like time off requests at work because I'm going to be trying to speed run that game over the weekend and see if I can finish main story quests.
That's Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah, new Monster Hunter. About in a little less than 2
Yes.
months. Which reminds me, I need to order my copy too.
End of February, if I remember correctly.
Yep, I think literally the last day of February is when it's out.
Dada is a sexy push, you are correct.
Yeah, it'll be out on Friday the 28th. But how about yourself? We've gone about a couple things I've been looking forward to in 2025. What are you looking forward to?
So aside from what you've mentioned already, for me, I would say I'm excited for Little Nightmares 3.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
That's the one that's going to be having the co-op with it, so you'll be able to play with your friend and survive and escape or whatever it is together. It's their first
co-op
time.
game. Nice.
Yeah, it's their first time doing it for that studio, for that franchise. So I'm looking forward to seeing that world, that story continue. Another one I'm excited to, which is a new IP, is Expedition 33.
Yes! Yes, that is on my list too. Is it this year? When is it coming out?
It is this year.
When are you releasing?
I'm pretty sure it is. Expedition 33.
I need to move that up on my Steam wish list because it should be near the top. But as much as I'm looking forward to it.
Date is... It just says summer 2025, so...
Okay.
You can't wait to play Little Minus 3. You loved the first game. GT Music got you into it. Did you play the second one, Evie? If you haven't played the second one, I definitely recommend it. But yes, Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Yeah, that's
so excited to see what they're gonna do with this, because it's meant to be that it's gonna like rival some RPGs that we've got out at the moment in terms of like art options. Will have a major impact on the world.
nice. Yeah, I'm that one caught my eye as well. I'm really looking forward to
But the
it.
combat looks good as well. Because it's turn-based, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a traditional RPG.
Freaking love that. Didn't play the second one. I recommend the second one. Don't I Miss You? Very good. Oh, gosh, sorry.
That's fine. So yeah, no, that's a great game. Thank you for reminding me of that. That was near the top of my wish list, but it is now sitting at number 5 on Steam for me. With Mon Hunt
what
being
else?
number 1. But I've got a...
There's the next Ghost game, the Ghost of Suke or
Oh,
something.
yeah. The Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Yokai.
Yokai. Ghost of Yokai, that's it. Got Death Stranding 2. Another one I'm excited for.
Yote. Ghost of Yote.
Yote. Fable. Fable's getting a renewal
Oh, nice.
this year. And I really loved the Fable games. I played Fable 2 and Fable 3 over and over again a lot. I think that's all on my most nominal to say list.
Yeah, I think I did...
Oh no, there's...
I think I did a list of like games I was looking forward to streaming next year. And I was looking a little bit through like what was coming out and what was planned, and it's so early in the year, like I don't know anymore. Like some stuff is they're gonna drop something on us that's gonna be crazy. In
So
time for
there's
summer
one
or
more.
autumn.
It was the first Berserker Kazan.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw some ads and trailers for that.
So I'm excited for that because it is related to the Dungeon and Fighter universe. So
Nice.
yeah. And the combat looks amazing. So I want to get in on that because I didn't really get into the combat of what I did. Whilst I love Black Myth Wukong, I watched a playthrough rather than play it myself because I knew I would struggle with the combat. Like a lot of people did. You know, it's not an easy game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I might try that out at some point on my own. I don't know if I'll stream it. Much like Metaphor, like there's occasionally games I run into that I'm like, I'm just gonna play this one for me. There are times I want to share it with stream in the community, and there are even occasionally times I run into a game that I'm like, oh, I wish I had streamed this one. Liza P was a great example of that, where loved the heck out of that game. Wish I'd streamed my first playthrough, but then I did like just a second playthrough with stream. But like Metaphor is a great example of like I'm already playing an Atlas game. I don't need another Atlas game, and also like I don't have time for it. So I wasn't willing to cancel Persona 5 to throw Metaphor on. I already made plans and stuff. So I'm like, no, I'll just play that on my own. I played through the demo. I liked the demo, and then I'm just playing it on my own. But
yeah,
I might do Persona 3 next year because I do have that. I got it from the Steam New Year's sale. So yeah, the 3 Reload. So, but
I have that too. I will need to go back to 5, finish 5. Probably August, maybe autumn. Not August. I meant to say autumn. Autumn time. I'll bring Persona back.
How far?
We'll see how I feel.
How far are you in Persona 5? Out of curiosity.
Trying to remember. We're about. I think we're about to start Haru's arc.
Okay, I think that's about where I'm at right now. And that one is actually one that I'm mostly trying to stay spoiler free for that one. But I've seen the art for people. I've seen the art for the characters, so like I know who Haru is. Like whenever she shows up, and she's like been in the background a few times earlier in the game, and I'm like, oh, that's Haru. I know she's gonna be relevant later, and not just because she has a unique design. Because like I saw her at school, I saw her in the summer when she was at the fireworks festival. I just finished the section for Futaba's Palace, and I saw Haru like watering plants outside the school, and freaking Ryuji runs into her and he's just like, hey, do you think I'd ever have a chance with a girl like that if she knew I was the Phantom Thief? And I just look at him like, man, you shut up. You need to stop saying crap like that in public, you idiot.
I know.
That boy is on my last nerve. He is dumb.
Oh dear.
He's got a good heart, but man, nothing between the ears.
He's so stupid.
He
He's
is.
so stupid.
Oh my god.
Dear.
But yeah, did you pick a particular character that you were romancing in your run?
I think I've not reached that part yet. I've only just finished Vitraba's palace, I think.
Okay.
But as for who I'd romance, I think I can't remember.
Fair enough. I asked because I finally hit the end of my romance path with my chosen candidate just this past stream.
Oh, who was that then? Sorry, I didn't catch that one.
I got some lap pillow from my high school teacher, and I am very happy about that.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah, I went for the maid.
Okay.
I went for the older woman who dresses up like a maid. I have a type, apparently.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Also, that being said, her benefit at rank 10 of, hey, you can go into the metaverse and then come back and still do something in the evening is amazing as like a skill.
It's really strong.
And I've actually done something else where and I could be wrong about this. I think the game will allow you to rank 10 multiple people, though it did kind of warn me when I got close to that for one person. Because I essentially finished Makoto's story too, and I was at her like 9th star, and the game's like, you need to be very careful with the words you use here. Also, remember, you already have a girlfriend, and I'm like, can I get away with this? Should I try to get away with this? No, I'm gonna stay true. I'm gonna stay true to Kawakami. I'm not gonna fuck around with her. I actually do like her. Makoto is also super sweet as well, but just Kawakami got to be first.
So my first ever playthrough that wasn't Royale was Makoto.
Yeah.
And it's been her ever since, but I was saying I am going to change it up for Royale. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure at the moment.
Yeah, there are a lot of very lovable characters in that game. Probably the only one I'll never do is Ryuji, if he even has a romantic pathway. I don't know. Because, God, that boy. That freaking boy. Him and Anne are two characters that for whatever reason I'm just like, they're both just kind of dumb, and I'm not interested in that. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But that's, yeah, get some good Atlas games in next year before we get more RPGs in our list. I don't know if I have any big RPGs I'm looking forward to next year. I know Final Fantasy VII's Remake number 2 is coming to PC next year. I might pick that up and play it, but I was so unhappy and uninterested with Remake 1 that I don't know if I'm going to care about Remake 2. Like, people really praised it, but I don't know. It's there were some design decisions I had issues with, and I'm not sure if they were ever addressed.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
I was saying to myself I was going to get into the Final Fantasy VII when it came to PC, and then it came to PC, and I was just like, there's so many different types of games going on right now. I can't get into something that's going to take up like 60, 70 hours of my life because I've still got this backlog.
I'm not going to get into something that takes 60 or 70 hours of my life. You say putting down Persona 5 and picking up Metaphor ReFantasio.
Shush you, okay? It's an Atlas game. Of course I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, but no, that's fair, and it's like I've played other Final Fantasies on stream. I played 4 and 6 on stream. I've played 16 on stream. I know I played 1 recently, but I think I just did it on my own time. So I've done a bunch of them on stream, but I don't know if I'm going to jump into playing like I can't remember if it's, I guess it's Rebirth with this time. 7 Rebirth is part 2.
Yes.
Um,
That's what it's called, yeah.
So yeah, it's hit or miss for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to care enough, which is fine. Like that's there's nothing wrong with.
Like...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. No. You finish first, and then I'll go.
And I was just gonna say it's not always necessary to buy every AAA $60-$70 game that comes out. Like it's okay to like limit yourself on those because Monster Hunter is going to be a big thing for me. And I know that's going to be a huge chunk of my time next year, just in terms of commitment for that. And so that's going to be a huge chunk. I've got 2 Atlas games. One I'm working through, one I might start. So there's already just tons of stuff that I can fill in my schedule with. There's no reason for me to try and shove a Final Fantasy in there too. It's unnecessary. And why play a game that I'm not enjoying? Because I barely got through the first one, with as much as I disliked things near the end. Like I had some small gripes earlier on, but the end I just really didn't like.
Okay.
But that's
Remind me, what game was that specifically for? Sorry, at the end.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. The
remake. Okay.
Yeah, because it just.
Yeah. Why would you name something like part 2 of your game that is a remake, Rebirth? Like I get very confused with those.
I
two.
think they're all.
Right.
I think they're all gonna be like something, kind of like how the Evangelion movies, like they did like Evangelion 1.0. You cannot something, and then Evangelion 2.0. You cannot something. Like they're doing like a cute little naming convention. So we had Remake, we had Rebirth. The last is probably going to be like Revive or Regenerate or something like that. It's going to be another reword.
And the fact that they're turning one game into like a triple game is it must be so challenging for their writers to know when good points are for them to stop. And be like, this is appropriate for us to end without the player base getting upset.
A little bit, but I mean, it is like the most successful Final Fantasy game they've ever made. I'm not surprised that they're trying to print more money with it because they've, broadly speaking, had a lot of flops. Most new games you play are random ones, don't pay attention to before they come out. I just end up seeing enough memes about them that you end up playing them and getting obsessed. Yeah, that's fair, Evie. Balatro is one of those I might check out next year because of people saying so much about Balatro and how good it is. That one is one I'm actually avoiding, like touching or playing at the moment because I kind of want to see what it might be like for streaming. But yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other games that are coming out next year that you're looking forward to, or other media things?
You've touched on Monster Hunter Wild, so I'm not gonna jump onto that. I think if we jump into other media things, I would say the final season of Stranger Things. I'm excited to see.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that was still in production.
Yeah, it ends this year, actually.
Nice.
Which is gonna be so heartbreaking. I'm gonna cry so much. But yeah, I don't think so.
I'm currently.
I feel like there is, like, you know, you got that niggling in the back of your head. You're like, there is something I'm excited for, but I cannot remember it.
Yeah, I'm literally looking through my Steam wish list here, trying to find like scratches in the back of my head of like, is there something coming out this year that I need to be excited about? Like, there's some like visual novel point and click stuff that I'm like, oh, that'd be neat. They did one called Dispatch on the Game Awards.
My Hero Academia is ending this year, and you're low-key scared because it feels like the end of an era. That is ending?
The manga's over, the anime is going to end.
I am shocked.
No, I mean, they were always building to a point with that one, and they got to it in the manga. And I actually thought I liked the ending for the manga, but I know a lot of fans didn't. But fans had strong opinions about certain things that happened that I will not spoil because Evie just clearly expressed that they're looking forward to. It's a thing that's coming up, but no, it's like I said, I've seen people that were upset about it, and I also looked at it myself and went, no, I find value in this. I think it's a good ending. I see the metaphors that they're trying to go for. I see the points they're trying to make. It is an ending that has layers, and depending on which layer you're engaging with it, is part of how satisfying you find it. Assuming they keep the manga ending, which they might change it up, because I could definitely see them making a change.
Yeah.
But no,
well, I
don't think there's any.
I think that covers everything for 2025 excitements.
Yeah, because I can't think of anything else major. Like, there's a couple of small like indie games that I've got my eye on, but on the whole, yeah, I've got a couple of big ones, and then the rest of it is just kind of like gonna be life as usual.
So yeah. Yeah.
Actually, here's a good question, kind of jumping off of 2025 things looking forward to. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
No, I am not one for doing that. Okay. I used to, but my reason for not doing it now is that I feel like it puts high pressure expectations on myself, and then when I can't, I put unrealistic goals as my like New Year's resolutions, and I don't do it anymore. This is the short story.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't do resolutions per se. I actually got into a topic called themes for a year a while back, and so I do them instead. So you may like have like a year of health where the like when you get to a choice, and like the idea is like when you get, it's something you keep in the back of your head. When you get to a choice where you need to make a decision, think about it in terms of like, is it gonna support or not support your year of health? So like when you go to a restaurant, do you get like the super cheesy cheeseburger or a salad? If you get the cheeseburger, do you also get dessert? You know, do you walk up the stairs to the next floor, or do you take the elevator? Do themes as well? Yeah. Did you also learn them from CGP Grey, Evie? Because that's where I got them from. YouTube creator CGP Grey. But no, my theme for next year is going to be touching grass. Not even joking about that. No, the last few years have been very stay inside, stay indoors, in part because of global health concerns, and in part just from life in general. Hexagons are the bestigons. Yay, we got another Grey fan. But no, I just realized I've been staying home too much. I've been reluctant to go out, and it's not full blown like hikikomori, but I'm probably a little agoraphobic after like the events of the last few years. I'm like, I need to get out and do more stuff. I just need to. I need to stop staying home all the time. So, well, my theme for 2024 was the year of less is more, of trying to like take things out of my life that weren't really adding benefit or were too much. Like canceling my gym membership because I'm like, okay, I'm spending way too much money to go to the gym and see a trainer, even though it's good for me. Yeah, said that name, and Hexagon's the best Hexagon popped into your head. Exactly. Yeah, he's very good at writing stuff like that. But no, like I got rid of like a gym trainer, and I cut back a bunch of subscriptions, and I had a bunch of things that I had planned to do for 2024, and actually my one stream for this week, I was putting together a schedule before we did the collab. I might do a stream talking about like my 2024 goals and what succeeded, what failed, and showing a little bit of like the system I use of like how I do this stuff. In part because it's useful to show that to people and to kind of demonstrate that. Actually, one thing I shared recently, and I actually forgot to retweet it. I'm gonna do that now. What's on my mind? Is I did a video last year talking about sanitizing Twitter and social media. I called it like 101 with Professor Deuscain.
Sanitizing.
Sanitizing, yeah. Just retweeted that, so if you want to find it.
I like the use of the word sanitize instead of like a cleanse, because cleanse is used quite a lot, in my opinion.
It's more about like cleaning it up and changing
Yeah.
your behavior and interactions with it. But I talked about that, like how to clean up Twitter to make it not the horrible hellscape that everybody describes it as. Because it's a much better, nicer place, and I know I'm doing it right when I see people talking about drama, and I have no idea what they're talking about. And we kind of talked about that a little bit last year, where like I have mine set up so well, and I'm like, I have no idea what this drama is. I have no idea what they're talking about, and that's by design. That is intentional.
Yeah,
and it's not there, and I don't see it.
Sorry to interrupt. To explain, the only time I found drama was if I was like, someone I followed shared it on, and it appeared on my feed that way, and then what would happen is I would obviously read into it because I'd want to formulate my opinion myself. I'm very pragmatic like that, but like, and then it sticks in my brain. But I never go looking specifically for any kind of drama posts. They just appear because someone's like, "Oh, my experience with X person," or what X has did to me, or something like that. Or my apology in some cases.
In some cases, and some of those are just bad apologies too. Some of them are really bad apologies. Deleted Twitter, not because of toxicity, because I got a bunch of R scammers. Yeah, that too. I have not gotten so many of them lately. I think I might have nipped enough of them in the bud to really shut them up for a while, but I do still occasionally get them. More I see them show up when I like get like a report every week talking about like who followed or unfollowed me. Like I have a service that sends that to me, and I absolutely go through that and see like, okay, is this a GFX bot? Is this like something sussy? And if I find out that they are, or I see something that's suspicious enough, I will just fry them afterwards. I don't care if they just followed me. I don't care if they just unfollowed me. I'm like, oh hey, this is because I had one this week and I had 2 people that unfollowed me, and I looked at the one and I'm like, okay, this looks like a real person. They probably just checked me out. I wasn't their cup of tea and they left. That's fine. That's good. The other one, I was looking through their stuff and I'm like, this is kind of strange. This is a little suspicious. And I went to their media tab and scrolled all the way to the bottom, and basically it was basically like the first thing they had was an image they share where they're like, reference image from a web, and I'm like, nope, you're dead. Be gone, bot. Be gone, bot that uses other people's art to promote your own stuff. Terrible thing. So
woo! Wow. How briefly, for everyone's experience, how would you start by sanitizing your social medias?
Also, we're gonna have an ad break in about 4 minutes too, at least on my end.
Okay, within 3 minutes.
Actually,
a brief description. Here's how to begin.
Here's a great idea. Why don't we pose that question to the audience and take our ad break so they have time to think, and we can come back and discuss it.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody, please give ideas of how you would sanitize your social medias for this year and beyond. And we'll be back after this break.
All right, see you in a few minutes, folks.
See you.
And we are back.
Yes.
All
We
right.
are back.
So what did y'all think of your ad break question, which got buried under a whole bunch of bot commands and stuff?
We should pin it next time.
Probably.
We'll learn. We'll learn.
Yeah. But it's definitely a question worth considering if you're going to be a VTuber or if you're going to engage with VTubers. Like, how do you do so in a way that is healthy for you? Because it's all too easy to fall into some like negative patterns, negative behavior, and
Or the wrong crowd as well.
That is exactly what I was gonna go to next. Like sometimes you just you meet bad eggs, and how do you find them and get rid of them? And my video doesn't go quite into that detail, but it's more of just like, how do you moderate stuff? How do you take care of and address things? And yeah, I'm for what was essentially just like an hour and a half long stream that night. I'm still pretty happy with like what I did to show people mechanically what they can do to make those sites, or at least Twitter, like a less awful experience. So
Yeah, that's good. And an hour and a half, that's not too long either. So that's good.
no, because it was very much
Someone
like,
could easily watch that.
do this, do this, do this, do this. Here's what you can do for free. Here's what costs a little bit of money, but I recommend it anyways. Here's the sublime possibilities of what can be done if you're willing to spend the money on it. Because that's part of why I pay for Twitter Blue. I don't like it, but I pay for it for a reason. So, but
When did you do that video, may I ask?
it was sometime last year based on the model I was using.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll see if I can find a link at some point.
April 19th of last year is when it was uploaded to YouTube. But I also just retweeted it, so if you check my socials, you'll find the link right there too. You should just follow art accounts so I don't see a lot of the drama and the random headcanon accounts. Yeah, the headcanon accounts and the shippers and there's some people that get really into their perspective and fandom, and I don't always agree with them. But yeah, I did a lot of art following for a while too, and those are generally pretty good because they're just people who make content. But occasionally you do find people into that community that will engage in drama, or like anything happens that's politics based and they will not shut up about it. I've had to leave a few of them behind because they're just like, oh my god, this conflict in another country that I'm not even in, that I'm not a part of, and I have to stop. I have to change my art account to just be something that's just like art picture, child that's been set on fire, art picture, building that's been blown up. And I'm like, oh my god, stop that. And eventually I just kind of realized I can't make them change what they're doing. I can change my behavior by just not engaging with them. And
Yeah. That's true.
it is unfortunate because I don't even necessarily disagree with that stuff, but social media is escapism for me. I don't go there to stare at terrible truths that make me want to gouge out my eyes. I go there to get away from it, to look at pretty art, to socialize and interact with people. And yeah, there's some ships I love and follow accounts that post a lot about them. Yeah, that's fine. Like, if that's what you like, that's the thing. Like, if you want to have a good experience, curate your experience around what you love and not around people that complain about what they hate. That will be a much, much happier experience overall for you.
Yes. So I went and found the video link directly for people to go and watch or save to their watch later, whatever you want to do.
Yep. Hope it's helpful to people.
It is there.
I might do a similar thing for Blue Sky at some point once I get a better handle on that website and like what it does and how it works. But overall, it's been a fairly good experience for me. It's a little quieter these days than when we first moved over, and I did go through and find a bunch of accounts that I followed. Recently I went through and I'm like, okay, who did I follow back in like October, November that just like posted for 2 days and then left? And yeah, I got rid of those accounts, at least for like the VTuber
So
list.
many.
Because there are definitely people that came in
that.
and did that as like a trope and then just never came back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna follow you to fluff up your numbers. I'm just gonna choke you out because you're not posting anything, and there's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And then there's me, who's currently going through a social media slump and doesn't have the energy to post anything.
No, that's
why I just stream.
that is eminently fair. That is incredibly fair. Yeah, it's a lot to have to do that, and I mean, I'm kind of doing the same thing with like clips and stuff, because I did a big focus on clips like early to middle of last year, and I in the fall I made the decision of like, I'm not getting any views for these, and I'm either making crap clips, which I might be, or like they're just not, I don't have enough of an idea on the marketing to get them out there and to have them successful. So I need to sit back and reevaluate, and if nothing else, just take my mind off of having to do that all the time. I've done a couple of them recently, and I have a few people that I've looked at as like, hey, I want to hire you to do clips or hire you to do like compilations, and they've been generally good experiences, but that's one of the things I want to try and do this month, and maybe this year just in general, because if nothing else, that saves me time. If I'm not having to do clips, if I'm not having to do shorts, if I'm just paying somebody to do it, I could go outside and do stuff out there and live my life.
I was saying around the middle of last year I was literally like, I might just get a social media manager, because I can't be doing all of this, and on top of that, doing all of the other stuff that we do behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that did sit on my mind for a bit. And sorry for the burp. I have food, so
That's fine. What you eating?
Duck and cucumber wraps.
Ooh, sounds tasty. I had a very healthy lunch of yogurt and applesauce. I avoided Tumblr because of its rep, but honestly, I love it now because I don't see drama. Yeah, old Tumblr was great. Like if you were in the right communities, but it was very easy to find like not safe content on that site. So yeah, there definitely were problems with it, and I can understand completely why they banned certain content from there, even though that kind of drove a lot of people away from it. But also, I've just seen some artists that do that type of content just absolutely silly about like what they're doing and why, and just maybe they need to touch some grass too, because some of them are no. Like I've gone through in my life of being like ride or die for artists to now sometimes looking at it and going like, no, you fucked up. This ain't society. This ain't censorship. You just an idiot, and you flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
What was I saying?
Well, we were talking about sanitizing stuff a little bit, and I think we kind of beat that topic to death. So,
yeah.
Why don't we go to Game Awards, and then we'll end with us fanboying about Metaphor.
So,
what was your experience? Here's my question: what was your experience watching the Game Awards? Because I actually watched it in a Discord call with a bunch of people from the VTuber group Underrealm, which is I know a bunch of their Gen 1 people for a while, and they just recently did a second generation group, and I've been hanging out and socializing with them a lot. So they had a big event in their Discord server, and that's where I watched it. So I was watching that with a bunch of people, which was kind of like a first experience for me of like watching it in a group rather than just kind of on my own.
So I watched it privately with myself and Panda, just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, if I actually bring up my notes of the day, because I made notes, look at me. Oh my god. I'm so professional.
My notes live in my head. I'm winging it.
So, they... how do I say this?
Oh, did your chat ban another word again?
No. Overall, the Game Awards is trying it to become, in a way, a replacement for E3 is how I feel.
That makes sense. I would agree. Yeah.
What happened last time? Hi, Jeppy. Thank you for the lucky, lovely, adorable, scoopy slime. Mwah.
Yeah.
It pushed heavily in terms of ads, which is fine. I don't mind that.
Yeah,
But when the
ads and
are
trailers and
specifically
stuff. Yeah.
tied... No, as in literal just adverts. So like, here's a competition for you all, enter now. But when those are specifically tied to USA only and not internationally, it's a bit of a kick in the face for everyone else international who's watching, because it's like,
yeah, no, that makes sense.
oh no, we don't want you watching. We're just an American thing.
Yeah, they want the viewers, but they don't want to show them the same respect and support. Yeah, no, that's a shitty thing for them to do. That's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
They don't care.
I don't know what to say, honestly. It's meant to be the Game Awards, but it just became very much a celebrities on stage event.
Yeah, I see that too. They
I
bring Kojima out every year so that people get excited about what he might or might not be working on.
No, not even that. Like Snoop Dogg and...
I mean, didn't they have Al Pacino last year? Like, well, not last year anymore, but for the 2023 ones, they had like Al Pacino out there. It's just like, man, why are you here? You have no idea what you're talking about with any of this.
I think Jeppy is right. It was too corporate this year. That's a good way to put it.
Exactly, yeah.
Evie, what I will say is I didn't watch it, but I saw something about a game that was shown. Catley? I don't think that game was announced, was it?
Maybe that's a misspelling, but yeah. But no, that's a thing. Like it's I'm not watching to listen to them have opinions about games. I'm watching for the trailers, basically. But no. So I think that's valid because it is definitely a corporate event. It's not there to actually be focused on the awards, and you can tell that because there's some of the categories they just burn right through them at the beginning, and it's like, okay,
right?
We're gonna do one category, and then it's a bunch of ads and trailers, and then another category and ads and trailers. So for 3 hours,
esports, they went esports game, esports athlete, esports team. Just like that.
Yep.
Gone.
The whole esports section was that. A bunch of like indie stuff was just out of the way. So like out of the, what is it? Is it like 30 categories? Probably half of them were gone within the first 30 minutes. Easily half of them. So, it's about like stringing people along and getting that ad revenue for the rest of it. And they've been successful for that. And I mean, it's the Oscars of gaming. And it is what it is, and I've made my peace with that. One thing I noticed is people getting very upset about was that the award where they changed the rules to allow the DLCs. Yes, they did, and that DLC did not win a damn thing, and I'm kind of fun. I'm amused by that. Everybody was all bent out of shape, and then it didn't actually win anything. But no, one thing I saw people being very upset about was Black Myth Wukong did not win very much. I think it got like action adventure. And it also won like the Player's Choice Awards. But I saw people the next morning complaining about it, being like, it sold so many units, but it didn't actually win any awards. Isn't that suspicious? And I kind of called them out on it a little bit. I'm like, hey, it's the people that vote in this are industry insiders. They're like the people that do like reviews at these companies. They're going to vote for the stuff that they like. That's their cup of tea. It's not going to be the regular gamer and the layman who and our opinions on it, which is why like the more artsy games will win. It's like the Oscars. Like it's exactly that way. There's going to be inherent bias in it. It was never going to win Game of Year, and that's fine. But like the fact that it won Player's Choice and it got something else is pretty good. Like that's celebrate your wins where you got them, because there's absolutely going to be years when stuff just sweeps. I still remember the year Elden Ring came out and they put it in the RPG category, and I'm like, well, isn't that more of like an action game? Like, there are levels, but like, I don't think of Elden Ring as an RPG, even though it has those mechanics. And I was really upset that it was up against other fantastic RPGs, like I think that was the year that Triangle Strategy was out. I'm like, no, this is a much more traditional tactics RPG, and it had no chance to win anything because it's in the category with freaking Elden Ring, which swept every category it was in. So that was really frustrating. Yeah. So I only cared about the 2023 Game Awards because there was a game I liked that was nominated, but 2024 nominees were games I never played or followed. RPG is kind of a blurry category. I agree with that too. Like RPG, they put games in that category that have RPG mechanics. The one that really bothered me was in the same year as Triangle Strategy and Elden Ring was the game Live Alive. They did a remaster of Live Alive, which is the game that inspired Chrono Trigger, possibly one of the best RPGs ever made, and it got the nomination, had no chance of winning because it was up against Elden Ring. And I'm like, that's crappy. I wish they would divide up the categories a little bit better. But yeah, no, that's part of it too, Evie. Like, we're if you're not interested in any of the games winning the categories, it's a lot less of an interesting of a show for the categories wise, because definitely when there's something I'm interested in winning, I'm watching for that specifically. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just watching for the trailers, because I was the same as you. None of the games I was really that interested in were in any kind of the big categories. So I was just like, yeah, no, I'm just here for socializing and to hang out with people. The one big surprise for me is we thought Arcane would win best adaptation. Was it? Or like,
it was Fallout.
It was Fallout,
Yeah.
which we were all surprised by that, and people were a little bit in arms online. I also saw people were really upset that Silent Hill didn't win any of the 5 categories it was in for Silent Hill 2. But that's also because, like, in 3 of the categories it was up against something that was nominated for Game of the Year, and those obviously won. And the final 2 categories it was up against Hellblade 2, which I guess the critics
best audio design.
I guess the critics just liked the Hellblade sequel over the Silent Hill remake, and that's an opinion, and that's how did Arcane not win? That show was amazing. Yeah, that's a good question, Evie, because I know people had opinions left and right about Fallout when it was like releasing, but I don't know how Arcane didn't win that one. That was a surprise for me, but I still to this day have not actually watched any season of Arcane, so I don't have a horse in this race. But it was the one I thought would win, and I was surprised when it didn't. So yeah.
So I think we're gonna clash heads a bit here, Dan. Because when Game of the Year was announced to be Astrobot, I was extremely angry that a game that was entirely exclusive to solely one console and could not be played by PC gamers, those on the Switch, or people over on Xbox or Microsoft Land, had won Game of the Year. A game that preached family fun time and won Best Family Game could then not be played by all gaming families around the world. And I was very, very angry that it won Game of the Year, because it felt to me that Sony was being pushed forth in everyone's faces a bit with that, and it did kind of seem that maybe Sony had
paid
a
to win,
larger say in what would win.
I think that's valid, but I do think that this year was one of the ones when it got to Game of the Year, I was a lot less invested in what was up for the award than I was other years, because like for Elden Ring, like I think that was Elden Ring up against the Zelda the year it was out, and I'm like, oh, this could go either way. These are 2 massive franchises butting heads here, and this is going to be interesting. I feel bad for anybody else in that category. This one, I'm like, yeah, it's a Final Fantasy remake, but it's like a mediocre Final Fantasy remake. Like, some people liked Seven Rebirth, and other people were kind of blasé. Metaphor was up there as a contender, but I didn't think an Atlas game, while I like them, is really Game of the Year, necessarily Game of the Year contender.
No, it's too nichey.
Yes,
the style of Atlas games are too nichey to win Game of the Year.
Yeah, too nichey and too hipster, I would say. Evie says, Dan Sarban,
Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, Game of the Year. Nintendo games get nominated all the time, and they pull the same thing. Evie says they like Pokemon, but will admit Nintendo is not a good company. Pokemon's a great example of my pushback against somebody that thought Black Myth Wukong should have won. Because like, yeah, it moved more units than Astrobot. Why didn't Wukong win? And I'm like, well, if number of units sold and money made is the indicator of what's Game of the Year, Pokemon would win every time it came out. I remember being furious the year that God of War Ragnarok was on the list, and Alan Wake 2, which are games that I've later seen like, oh, these are actually really good games. But I'm like, they came out the week that the announcements happened. Like, how is this out for contention at all? Like, by that stock, shouldn't Pokemon be out? And Pokemon moved as much units in the first weekend it was out. Even the last Pokemon, which wasn't even a good one by people's measure, it moved as many units in opening weekend as Elden Ring did in the first month. I looked up those numbers. You have to go to like 5 weeks of Elden Ring to match 1 weekend of Pokemon, which is insane. But Pokemon never ends up on these award lists because, of course, it doesn't.
I want to respond to Evie. So the whole point of me naming what I did was just to give examples of other accessibility for gaming. I think a Game of the Year should be accessible on every single platform / console for it to be there. I do
think that helps. I'm not in full agreement. If it's a genuinely impressive game, like, because if Persona 5 came out, like it's and as incredibly stylized as that was, and it won Game of the Year when it was just like a console exclusive or only on a couple consoles, because it would have been like PlayStation and maybe Xbox. It's not going to be on the Switch. It wasn't on PC at first either. I wouldn't have really had a problem with that, because Persona 5, playing through it now, I'm like, no, this is a really good game. It's incredibly stylized. The music is impressive. Like, no, I can see this winning Game of the Year. And like it helps to have it be cross-platform, but I don't see that as a requirement. But it is a cherry on top for me when it is. But Astrobot, yeah, like from what I've seen people playing it, like it's a very cozy like platformer game of a very much like a Super Mario 64 style of thing. And yeah, I can see why it won, because there's definitely like a bit of nostalgia for that. 3D platform, yeah, there's nostalgia for it. There's a bunch of like references to other PlayStation properties and IPs in there. So like, yeah, I could see that as like what it is and what it does. But there also just wasn't anything else in the category that I thought was a good contender, because Metaphor's too niche. What were the other contenders? Metaphor was too niche. Black Myth Wukong was there, which people liked as an action game, but is a little too Soulsborne-y for some people, but not enough. And there was some controversy with the developer, which actually that's a great thing to talk about. Like, the developer apparently wrote their acceptance speech for Game of the Year 2 years before Wukong was in the awards ceremony, and then was super pissed that they didn't win it. I'm like, dude, who writes their acceptance speech that far in advance? And like, the devs were like genuinely upset that they didn't win it. I'm like, you guys did really well. The fact that you got a nomination at all is impressive for like your first major game that you've put out, your first major AAA. But like, I don't know. I almost got the vibe like they had promised investors something that they couldn't deliver on, and now they were a bit upset and concerned by that. And I'm like, okay, but like, don't do that. Don't promise people you're going to bring them a win, because you can't guarantee that. So
but
yeah.
we don't know if they did that though. So
people had gotten some footage of the ceremony where they had. Oh, yeah. I don't know if they promised investors. That's just my
part,
that's just my speculation. But there is stuff that like published articles saying that like no, he wrote the acceptance speech early and he was pissed that he didn't win, and people on their team did break down and cry at the ceremony when they didn't win.
Yeah, it's hard. It's gut wrenching to put so much strong determination and willpower and love into a game, and then it doesn't win. Like, I understand that.
I get that too, but at the same time, there's five nominees, and 4 of them are going to be going home disappointed. And there's a degree where you need to have a bit of maturity to accept the fact that that's what's going to happen here. And
I think they're allowed to cry though. I think it's okay to be extremely upset to the point of crying if you don't win something.
Maybe, but I don't know. The whole situation with that company and the things I've heard make me a bit skeptical of some things. So I don't know, kind of side-eyeing them. But no, I think
best narrative, Metaphor.
Yeah,
for them.
Good for them. I thought they would win best soundtrack too with the amazing soundtrack they had, and then Final Fantasy VII won that. I'm like, really? I mean, I guess it's a classic. It's like.
Yeah, I was shocked by that as well.
Yeah, like I'm surprised by it, but I'm not upset. Like I said, I only started really playing Metaphor like a little bit later than that, so I wasn't super invested in it by that point. But yeah, there's a little bit of like, oh really? You didn't win? Huh. That's interesting.
What is interesting is that neither of us mentioned GTA 6 as something we're excited for this year, but it won most anticipated game.
Yeah, I've never played a GTA game in my life. I'm probably never going to.
No.
It's not something I'm going to pick up. It's not my flavor of game, in all honesty.
No,
so
not mine.
It's it will be what it will be.
It will be what it will be. Yeah.
So I'm happy for the people who are happy about the game coming out, but yeah, it's not something.
No.
It's not something I'm gonna have an opinion about.
But best community support, Baldur's Gate 3, good for them.
Oh god, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 getting more awards. Like, I've heard nothing but good things about that team, and I feel so bad that they're not going to be making more Baldur's Gate games because they're just like, yeah, we don't want to deal with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro anymore. We don't like those people. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fair.
Almost microtransaction when it comes out, I guarantee it. Oh, for sure. Wow, the online version will. I'm not sure about GTA 6 itself having microtransactions, but the online version of GTA 6 definitely will.
Yeah, and that'll be an interesting make it or break it for that game too. Is like what the studios do to mess with what otherwise would be a golden egg, and whether they're
Rockstar, is it Rocksteady? I don't know.
I think it's Rockstar. Yeah, there is a degree of like studios being a little too greedy and ruining a good thing that they have because they're just pushing it too much. And pushing a narrative that players don't want. I mean, there's a broader concern for that, like overall in media in general, because that's a little bit of like social media these days. Is like you can make a better website, or you can make a website that serves ads better, and a lot of them have gone down that route of just trying to make advertisers happy, and I think it makes a worse game. I think it makes a worse site and experience, and that's why people don't flock to these things as much anymore.
Assuming there will be, and that's a very good point. Actually,
could be all online.
You make a good point. They might not even have an offline mode for GTA 6. They could make it solely online. Yeah, I think they might actually do that. I think you're right.
And Evie saying whatever company made Baldur's Gate 3, they will buy whatever they make next. And yeah, Larian is the name. Larian Studios. I put it in the chat.
I mean, if you liked Baldur's Gate 3, you can always go back to Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2
Yeah.
because those are good games that Larian made.
Mm-hmm.
Very good games. So
Yeah. But yeah, like I mean, in general, it was just kind of a fun experience for me to sit there and watch this with people and be excited with them. Probably the thing that got the most from me during the show wasn't the new Elden Ring FromSoft Universe game. Was actually Okami 2. Like that one came out of nowhere. I'm like, what do you mean Okami 2? What the hell?
yeah, the announcement of the Okami sequel did really excite me at that point. I was like, oh snap.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's getting real. We got an Okami 2 coming. So yeah, no, that's gonna be some good shit when it lands. Because they've had time to cook and they've had time to like really do a good job on it, and the first one was so good. So yeah, I'm very excited for that.
yeah.
Is there anything else for the Game Awards that? Because I think I talked to like around most of the controversies and stuff that I saw, and it's hard to like have a strong opinion about an award show that I don't have a strong opinion about. Like I was more fired. I was more fired up 2 years ago when Alan Wake and God of War were in there, despite like being released like right before the nominees were announced. I'm like, okay, how is anybody saying that this game is this or that or the other thing when it's been out for like 10 days? Like, come the fuck on.
I think if it's all right with you, I'd like to keep this lighthearted and generally positive after my negativity of being like, get rid of it.
Well, I'm referring to the ghost of my anger from 2 years ago. So yeah, it's
Oh.
I've made my peace with that, and I've moved on. But now speaking of positivity, if we want to transition to what might be our final topic for today's collab, Metaphor ReFantasio.
Yes. Where do we start? Where do we begin with this game? It is consuming my life.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, I want to continuously, every day I wake up, I'm like, I want to play more.
Yeah, I am just shy of 75 hours into this, and I started in December. Like,
what?
I
am you crazy.
I am crazy person. Yeah, a little bit. But no, I
crazy person.
Yeah, I didn't play the demo until sometime, I think mid-December at the earliest. But like New Year's Day, I played that for hours, and then I streamed that night, and like the weekends I'm playing it for hours and hours. So like, yeah, it's just it's very easy to rack up that time, especially if you got a very addicting game. So
I didn't know you streamed on Christmas Day. That's so kind of you to do that.
Yeah, I do a Christmas Day stream during the day usually to kind of like keep people company, because that's actually my anniversary for this round of streaming, because I did like 1 year that ages ago that I didn't track anything of. I didn't have like a camera, I didn't have a VTuber model, and I was not successful at all. And then I came back Christmas Day of 2021, I think, and started streaming then and played Valhalla on stream, Cyberpunk Bartender Simulator. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this to keep people entertained and give them somebody to talk to, because I wasn't seeing family that Christmas. I didn't want to go home and see family, and I didn't want them to come see me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep people company because I'm all by my lonesome, so I'll do that for people.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Thank you, Pickle the Little Dill. I will have a drink.
Drink your drink.
Yep. So yeah, I did that on Christmas Day, and then New Year's Day I did Persona in the evening, and then played Metaphor all through the day. So yeah.
Aww.
So yeah, I've sunk a ton of time into that. So yeah, like
I want to take a moment and say that it's really nice that there are streamers out there who do that on Christmas. So thank you, Dan, for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
For those who may not have as much as other people. So thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I do it, because you know, I've been there with the person that, if nothing else, how do I want to say this? There's a lot of reasons why we do what we do as streamers and what we're trying to do for our communities. And part of what I do and part of why I have the rules the way that I do is a little bit of escapism. I want to let people get away from their problems and just sit back, relax, and have fun. And for some people, that means that Christmas is a lonesome time, and having a place to go on that day to get away from your problems or just to not be so lonely is a thing that resonates with me, because there have been times I've wanted that for myself and I didn't have it. And I'm in a position to give that to people currently, and I try to when I can. Like, if I ever get into a relationship with somebody and start being like, and then I'm having to go see their family on Christmas Day, obviously I wouldn't be able to continue my tradition. I might do it around that point, but while I can, I want to support people so that they have a little bit more light and brightness on Christmas time, because despite it being a traditionally happy time of the year, it's not always happy for people. And I've been that too.
No.
So, yeah.
Woo! I'm gonna do a round of applause.
Thank you. But enough about the holidays. They're almost done. The last day of my holidays is tomorrow, and then I will finally be free of the 3 weeks of stress and the month that leads up to that. Because fun fact for me, the holidays are always a 3-week event for me, because it is Christmas and then it is New Year's, and then in the first week of January is my birthday. So
when is your birthday?
Tomorrow.
Oh my god! Happy birthday for tomorrow!
Thank you.
Everyone, we should sing happy birthday right now.
No, we should not. It is not the time yet.
Happy
You're not gonna.
Birthday to you.
No, you're gonna jinx me. No.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dan. Not specifically any specific Dan, so it can't specifically be tied to you, so there's no bad luck. Happy birthday to you.
There is statistically a Dan that was born on January 5th somewhere, I suppose.
Absolutely, yes.
Your loophole is acceptable.
Thank you. I want someone to clip that, and I'm just gonna send it to you tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. But no, so yeah, tomorrow will be the last day of my 3 weeks of holidays, and I'm always a bit relieved when it's done. I'm actually taking the day off of work. I'm going to do a stream during the day and try and do a speed run of Hollow Knight. In part because I love the game. In part because I love the game so much, and I've also done speed runs, but I want to see if I can shave some time off. And also, speaking of Underrealm from earlier, one of their VTubers is playing it too, and she's close to the end of the game, and I joked with her in a voice chat a week or two back. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of speedrunning Hollow Knight. If I plan it right, I might beat the game before you do. So I'm going to try to do that.
Oh my god.
And see if I can beat the game first, and then raid into her if I get a chance. Being a little bit of a gremlin shit, but it's my birthday, so I'm allowed to.
Started bringing up Stalker 2. A game I've never played, but apparently has references to the previous games. Best Fighters, 21 Mark 1, Strelok, player character of the first game. Okay.
Sorry, I don't think either of us have anything to say about Stalker 2 at the moment.
But I'm glad you're enjoying the game.
Yes. Yes. Have fun with game. Have fun, enjoy with game. Going back now, because we got wildly off topic about a game we're having fun with. Metaphor ReFantasio. Thank you for the follow, Miramis. Thank you.
Thanks for following Dan Miramis. Check out his streams and his VOD channel.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting game. It is very much. I mean, it's an Atlas game. You have your social links. You're building your ranks with people. It's heavily stylized. The music is amazing. They really were banging it on all 4 cylinders here. So they did a fantastic job overall. There are things I like and there are things I don't. Especially playing two Atlas games at the same time, I can kind of compare the differences between the two of them.
I could not do that.
Well, I don't
know how you've done it.
I'm streaming the one, and then I'm just rushing the other one in my off time. But like comparing to like Persona 5, I was frustrated at Persona 5 being like kind of locked into elements. So if I wanted a certain element, I needed a certain party member. But being in Metaphor, where you can just change anybody's class at any time, and you just be like, yeah, no, my main character is going to be the caster. Like I'm keeping mine. I'm keeping mine mostly as the seeker, but like you could do the main character as your warrior, or do the main character as your mage. It's perfectly fine, and it's perfectly allowed.
Yeah.
Because why not? Yeah. Why not?
It's in its true essence, it is a true RPG in that you can change class, but you also being able to swap out team members during combat. Very, very reminiscent of the Final Fantasy X days of being able to just swap mid combat.
Mm-hmm. Well, Persona does that too. Persona 5 has that, I think.
I think you had to get a specific skill with someone for that.
You did, but it's super easy to do, I think. But yeah, it is a thing you can do in Metaphor, and then somebody has a skill that makes it even easier. Like it costs like half a turn instead of a full turn. So I think it halves the cost.
I'm just sending you a quick message, and then I'm going to let you have the reins for a little bit.
Okay.
But yes.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll talk about some of the things I like.
Thank you.
But yeah, no. So the magic system of the game, the class system, is incredibly strong. It's been a while since I played a game that had such good. Oh, congratulations on the Church Wake starter. That has such a good class system. Like, it reminds me of Final Fantasy X-2 and a lot of other games like that just lets you have classes. I kind of wish you could hot swap some stuff in combat too to adjust on the fly to things, but like, it's a really strong system for that sort of gameplay, and I really like it a lot. I also say it's been a little while since I've had a game that has had such a clear antagonist throughout the game. Because Luis is an incredible antagonist. Like, you know, he's the villain from like the opening cinematic crawl, because you see the video of him killing the old king and just being a villainous villain, and just being able to have that in the back of your head the whole time. Like, no, this is the bad guy. There's no question about it. There's no, oh, we need to find out who's responsible. We know who's responsible. And even when the first time Luis shows up, he's very clear of like, yeah, no, I killed the old king. What do you got to say about it? So yeah, no, it's good to have that in a game, because sometimes it's nice to just have that person. You just be like, yeah, that guy we don't like this whole time. And yeah, he's just kind of in the back of your head, just doing stuff. And you're constantly trying to beat him in a chess match, and that is a good kind of energy to engage with from time to time. Because like one game I mentioned earlier, Triangle Strategy, fantastic game, fantastic narrative. You don't know who the problem person is for a large section of the game. And eventually you do kind of figure out, like, you can point at somebody and be like, no, that guy specifically, he's the problem. He's the one behind all of this. And even other people that we kind of hate for earlier sections of the game are like, they're a problem, but they're sort of a victim of a bad system that is forcing them to be bad as well. So it's nice to have an unapologetic villain that you can just, and he's charismatic enough that like when you see him and when you interact with him, you're just like, oh, he's got such a punchable face. Oh, I want to punch him in the face. I'm looking forward to punching him in the face later. And the game lets you do that. And he is a challenging fight that when the few times you get to fight him, that I feel like he's earned his place as antagonist, more than earned it by the place where I'm at, which I can't go into too much details because I think Dan is around the point where he's gonna have chances to fight Luis, so I don't want to spoil it for Dan because I don't know if he left his headphones on or not. But yes, Luis is one hell of an antagonist, and it is great. So let me think what else I liked about the game, because I do have criticisms. Probably I would say my biggest criticism of the game is the friggin' weather. So when you finish with the first town, you go to the second, and you find out that like, hey, you're supposed to go to this place, and there's going to be a weather mechanic, and if you arrive at that location at that time, all the monsters should be super asleep and totally fine to fight. And then you get there, and they're like super angry and aggravated and harder to fight. And you're like, that jerk, he told us the wrong thing. And that's a fun plot point when it happens, but then it continues to be a mechanic over the rest of the game. And the biggest problem is when that mechanic is active, you are essentially fighting enemies that do not have weaknesses, or the weaknesses don't do the things that you thought they would. So you constantly have to just deal with these problematic enemies that are just brutal, and just these really tough fights where you have no advantage of weaknesses. Like, you might do extra damage, but ordinarily when you hit an opponent's weaknesses, it gives you an extra turn. You don't consume an entire turn icon, which you get one for each character that's active in combat. So losing that advantage means that now you're dealing oftentimes with enemies that are fighting you on a more equal ground. A lot of them can give themselves extra turns. Evie has to go now. Have a nice stream. Thank you, Evie. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care. I will let Dan know you said goodbye. So just that weather icon was just very punishing the times I kept encountering it. And I know you can talk to people in towns that will predict the weather and show you when is a good or bad time to go somewhere. I only started engaging with them later on because it was so punishing to do dungeons, especially dungeons that were when I was under leveled, that just I don't have that advantage. And I got through some fights by the skin of my teeth, and it's just miserable and unpleasant for me. So the weather mechanic as a permanent thing, I know I saw a little bit of it in like Persona 5. I really don't like it in Metaphor. That is probably the single biggest thing that I would change about the game if I could change anything. Because it takes a challenging game and makes it so much harder. Hey Dan, welcome back.
Thank you.
Evie said that they had to head out, but they wished us a good stream, and I wished them goodbye. And so did Pickles.
Aw, thanks, Evie. Bye, lovely.
But yeah, I was praising the class system of the game and how much I like that. I praised the fact that we have this nice central antagonist the whole time. That the game is very clear, like, it's just a bad guy. Like, he's
you
like
mean
in the
racism. Yeah.
Louise, I'm referring to more specifically.
No, I know.
But but like just the fact that like from the opening cinematic sequence, like he fully killed the king. It is a cold-blooded murder in the middle of the night, and he's just making a grab for power afterwards. Like, oh yeah, this guy with his punchable face. I can't wait till I can punch him in the face. It's gonna be so good to punch him in the face. Like, he's such a good antagonist. I love that. I love that in a game. I was kind of comparing it to Triangle Strategy too, where you don't have that central antagonist. You sort of do, but you sort of don't, and it's oh god.
Game I touched. I have it. I have it right here.
Triangle Strategy is so good. Play that sometime. It's so good.
It's staring at me right now.
Yeah.
It's actually in my list of to stream games, which grows by the month.
I would humbly recommend you slide it a little further up the list. Not saying do it right away, but I am saying like it's a good game. It's a very good game.
I have to play it offline. And you know we were talking about things for this year, and you said it was themes. I didn't actually. I forgot to mention I'm doing like goals for this year in a way. So one of them is to teach myself to play games off stream, because I've lost touch with that, keeping games to myself, specifically to stream. I've lost that like personal connection with gaming, so I want to get back. So
yeah, that's kind of why I do some stuff off stream, and why I have those games that I'm like, yeah, no, I am absolutely playing this for me. This is my game. I'm not sharing it. Because I've done the same thing too, where I look at everything as like, well, I could stream this, or I could play it myself, and maybe I could get content out of there are just sometimes games I'm like, you know what, this is a me game. Monster Hunter's the closest I'm willing to come to compromise on that, because I've literally taken off 2 days from work, and maybe I'll even burn a third, because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be around the week this drops. I'm playing it on launch day. I'm playing it all weekend. I have Monday off to play it some more, or maybe even take the day, maybe even just to recover from playing for hours on end. And I am finishing the main story quests of Monster Hunter that weekend, and I know I can do it. I did it for Iceborne, like way back in the day.
So you don't think they're gonna do what Rise did and like release the like finale?
Oh yeah,
later down the line.
They'll do that then, yeah, because they did that for Monster Hunter World and Iceborne too, where like you get to the end, you beat the final boss, and then they release other content afterwards. It's harder. Because for Iceborne, the Iceborne ended. Iceborne like had dangled Velkhana in front of your face for most of the game, and then there's a final boss that's harder. Like World did that with Nurkagante, Iceborne did that with Velkhana, Rise did that with Magna Malo, and then Sunbreak did that with Malzeno. And that's what Monster Hunter always does. They always have the thing that you're kind of dealing with, and then there's the bigger problem behind it, and then there's always stuff they release afterwards. Especially in the expansion, because the expansion Iceborne, the final thing at the end of that is Fatalis, which is like canonically something strong enough to destroy an entire kingdom overnight, and you have to fight it. Like it's a brutal fight. It's an incredibly dangerous monster. Yeah, I
like that. I like the sound of that actually. Challenge.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. And Iceborne and World did a really good job of that towards the end, because Iceborne especially, like they remade some monsters from the earlier games that are legendarily powerful. So yeah, we also have an ad break coming up in a couple minutes. Do you mind if we snooze this one? Because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much longer we're gonna go talking about Metaphor. So we might finish in 10 minutes.
I'm going to save my Metaphor talks for probably the next time we're together. Because I was having a little think, and I was thinking maybe we could get together in March. Like the second Sunday of March, maybe?
Yeah, that should work.
And by then, I will have finished the game.
Almost certainly.
You
We'll
will
both be
have
done,
finished the
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I think we'll be done.
And I'll have probably have done my New Game Plus and on hard and beating it. So
I'm not going to do that at all. I don't care enough. I'm playing it for the experience, and I'm not going to do the hard. Nah.
I've tried it before, but I want to go through it again. I want to go through the game as many times as I possibly can to see every different thing I can.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, so we can save a lot of that for next time. But I'm definitely having a very good time, and there's some good themes in there of what it is and what's happening. I am curious though, like where exactly you're at in the story, because you mentioned like being in like early to mid September. I know
14th. Yeah.
I know you.
It's the day after Rella.
The day after
Rella's fight.
Okay, Rella's fight. I was gonna say like I was gonna say Rella's fight. I'm like, I can't say fight because you might not know. Yeah, the day after Rella's fight is a big thing.
I've just fought Loveless on the morning of the 14th at the runner, on the Gauntlet Runner, and unlocked Milo's side quest.
Yeah, that was
go track him down.
That was a fun side quest to do. I liked doing that, and I actually went and did.
It like finishes up those parts of the story.
Yeah,
finding.
I actually went around like when I noticed like one or two of them. I ran through the whole town trying to look for others, seeing if there were other people to fight. I only found 3. There's Loveless, which leads to Milo, and then there's somebody else that I fought that I was running around like, oh, does he lead anywhere? Does he do anything? It turns out no, he doesn't. But that's fine. But no. So you've gotten through the Opera House and those events.
Yes. Yes. Although you probably didn't see the stream, but I had the stupid audio loss glitch. So there is in the game at any random moment, of the game in a cutscene, the audio can just cut out completely.
Oh no.
And to fix it, you have to pause the game, which you can't do in a cutscene.
Nope.
You can only skip it. You have to pause it, change the audio source to something and then back again to fix it.
Oh, that's...
So the entirety of the rooftop part.
Oh no!
After beating him, I had no audio.
Oh, that's so bad. That's such a good part.
You know, where he falls onto the stage and all that bit. No
It's
audio.
all silence. Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, so I went back and well, I didn't go back. I found a YouTube video of someone playing the game and I went through it, like played it in the background of my stream. To basically hear what was going on, like people's tone of voice and things like that, because that's really important part of that game, especially in a cutscene.
Are you playing with the English voice acting?
Yes, this time I am.
Okay.
My second playthrough, which will be in my personal one, like off stream, I will do Japanese voices.
Yeah, I'm doing
Just to
Japanese
them.
voices for Persona 5, and I was just kind of curious why. For you for this one. See, we're both doing English then. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your
Hi, Kura. Kura.
Hello. Who's your favorite party member so far?
Heisman.
Heisman's pretty good. I like him. I like what they did with this story.
Not even just that, just like his interactions throughout the species that they created for the game. I'm gonna get into a rant. I'm gonna stop there.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop there.
I've Stroll's kind of been my boy for most of the game. Just the very basic warrior and the evolution for that and how strong it gets. Stroll's really been my winner.
So-
I thought I'd like
Did you choose Stroll for the bonfire then?
No, I chose Gallica then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even know like what that was going to do. I'm just like, you know what? Gallic's kind of cute. I'll take her. Why not?
Oh.
But yeah, Heisenberg. I thought, is it Heisenberg or Hulkenberg?
Hulkenberg, yeah.
Hulkenberg. I thought I would like her more, and then I saw her culinary preferences,
love
and she's charming, but not waifu material for me. I would not eat that woman's cooking. I would risk death. I would risk death at insult and basically say like, no, honey, you can have seconds. I'm full. I'm so full. I'm gonna have to go out and get ice cream to fill up and wash the taste out of my mouth. Oh my god, that woman.
I love how three-dimensional these characters are. They have their own little thing, right? But then they also have like 3 other different aspects of their personality that they bring into the game. And I love that about all of them. It is my game of the year. Absolutely.
Fair. I don't know if I have like a
is-
standout game of the year for last year. But
I would probably say it is contending first place. Depending on how things go from here, this game could be bumped up to my all-time favorite game ever. But we will see. We will see.
from some of the things I know are coming up, I think you've got a lot of good stuff to look forward to.
Yeah. There's me looking through my schedule going, where can I pen in more? More! More!
Yeah, any night that I'm not streaming, I'm usually playing Metaphor. There've even a few streaming nights I've finished work, ordered food, and just played Metaphor until the food arrived.
Oh, I've seen you.
Which is how I've done that and how I've caught up so fast.
I've seen you playing it and I've gone, damn, I will be there soon, playing offline, not giving a care.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, this was a me game though.
But I honestly feel like there could be at least another 20, 25, 30 hours of gameplay still from where I'm at. Maybe even 40 hours. This could be a 100-hour game.
I know they touted it as that. I don't know if I'm gonna hit 100 hours because also the the 75 for me is Steam time. So that's the game being up and active, not like playtime. So I think I'm only at like 60 something in playtime because I probably like let it idle all that, went around and did stuff and like sat on the menu screen or whatnot. So like,
Because the music is amazing.
yeah, that's
I know.
it. So I'm definitely not 75 hours of playtime.
I have to snooze the ad again. Oh my god.
Yeah, we keep talking. Why don't we find an ad target, or not an ad target, a raid target then, for somebody to jump over to, because we're gonna get into Metaphor more later on, and we might as well not beat it to death now. We're both big fans.
Yes. I will ask though, was the second week of March okay for you?
It should be. Let me double check.
That is the 9th of March. I need to check if that's Mother's Day. 9th of March.
You said the 9th?
Yeah.
That'll be fine, but that is also when daylight savings time starts. So.
It's 1:25 is the 30th. Okay. Daylight saving starts on the 9th. And that's when... When's that?
When's
I
what?
don't know when that is. I can't remember whether which way the clock's changed.
That is my clock change day. Sunday the 9th is clock change day for me.
Yeah, but is that when they go forward or back?
I lose an hour of sleep. So, it's fine though. I don't have anything else scheduled that week, or that weekend. And it's not the Monster Hunter weekend,
Okay.
which is the weekend before.
Okay, so your clocks will go forward. Is that correct?
I'll send you a thing then. We'll nail it out at the time.
Oh yeah, they'll go forward by 1 hour. Mine don't change until the end of March.
Yeah.
Spread
We're
forward, fall back.
gonna be
Thank
on
you, Jeffy.
on
That's what I was
EDT.
trying to
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, Eastern Daylight Time.
And I'll still be on GMT.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the ad breaks are up one more time. Let's talk about this off stream and find a raid target.
Okay, let me see. 40 people are currently live for me.
Let's see.
Yeah, the UK-US clock change is fun. Honestly, it hurts my brain every year.
Let's see. Do you have a particular preference?
I think I may have found someone. Give me just a sec. Is this gonna let me do it?
You cheeky bugger, you.
It worked. I didn't think it was gonna work.
So now I
It
can raid out from
actually-
here without having to consult you first.
Exactly.
No, a friend of mine is doing a birthday bash stream, so yeah. We're gonna keep the raid trade going. Let me see. We're gonna raid my friend Midori here, who is doing a birthday bash. So let's pop in and wish Midori happy birthday. They said something earlier to say hi, so yeah.
Lovely.
You cheeky little smarty pants.
I'm going to leave the stream together now.
All right.
Teehee, and stop streaming. Bye, Draconians! I will see you tomorrow!
Bye bye.